what I like is back in my old school, we had a thing called I Saw Jesus, where microphones are brought to people in the audience that raise their hand, and they say, I saw Jesus in this, or I saw Jesus in that happened during the week, and it kind of, shares good experiences that you saw Jesus in during the week.
I really like improv. Actually, when I was here a few years ago, there was an improv club, and they would do some presentations, and there would be a moral. I'd be uplifted, and it was also very funny.
A service that was based on the Bible and just getting to know Jesus better for myself, and how to share Jesus with other people.
I think it'd be cool if we could have maybe more students, maybe kind of go up there and preach and do that. I think that'd be kind of cool.
We have a gospel choir now, and just if we can just invite churches from all around the neighborhood, even churches that come from down south or different states, to just come and just at least do that once a month. And that would help a lot. Really uplifting. Because you also get worship in song as well as just hearing the word.
I enjoy food, and so if you could put out like a whole mess of donuts on those tables out there, I'd be happy listening to the sermon after I ate some donuts.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to part 2 of this last couple weeks podcast on campus spirituality. With me tonight is a new cast of characters. Last week we had Pastor Ice and RVP Justin Terosian on, and we talked about the different problems that PUC has with spirituality. And this week we kind of want to shift the focus over to what can we do to stimulate and grow people's faith here at PUC, and really talk about what things we're doing positively, what things we need to change in order to have a much better spiritual growth here at our school. And with me tonight we have Robert Abdul-Karim, and we also have Nathaniel Gamble, and then Nicholas Lampke, who are all here to help talk. Robert leads his dorm prayer ministry. If you look into the Pacific Union College Campus Ministries Handbook, you can find his contact info if you'd like to get more info on that. And he's also helped by Nathaniel. Both are very involved with our kind of religious community here. And also we have Nick, who I've invited on. He's also one of my good friends and the editor of this program. And he's also not an Adventist, and we really wanted to get that perspective tonight. So I want to thank all three of you for coming on. So let's get right to it. We basically have 3 main emails that we have time for today that I wanted to pick, and let's hop right to it. The first one that we got reads, I believe that PUC should let students come to a religion on their own terms by letting them choose when they want to worship instead of requiring worship. It's still a good thing to have religion classes to teach people about religion, but I think that forcing students to attend worship puts most of them off of religion. Personally, I do not get much out of colloquy or vespers, and I think that the main problem is that I really don't have the choice to attend if I feel that I need it or not, or if I feel that I would rather worship on my own. It feels very similar to iSchool, where everything is organized by someone else, so that the students don't have to strain themselves by doing a little thinking. We are now in college, and this should mean that we are capable of thinking for ourselves and making religious choices for ourselves. Now, with that, the main point that I think was brought up that this person in particular finds a hindrance to them is being required to come to worship services. And what do you guys have to say towards that? Do you think that it really does put a strain on some people's faiths, requiring them to actually come to things like Vespers, Week of Prayer, and Colloquy, and things like that at all?
The funny thing is you're not technically required. This person kind of pointed out it feels like high school. We're in college now. Treat us like college students. The funny thing is you don't have to go. Now we say, okay, well, there's a colloquy requirement. Okay, so if you don't go to at least 6 colloquies, then I guess you won't get 0.10 credit every quarter. You don't have to go. But this requirement or this feeling of, well, I have to go because someone told me to. Yeah, I could see how it might put a strain on some people's spirituality.
Whereas for the services, this person also brought up, where if this is something that they go to and they feel like, hey, I'm not getting as much as I think I could, out of that. Do you think that that at all, that they could be doing something else that maybe would enhance their faith greater than being at the program? Do you think that they should be able to like offer more additional, and maybe be a little more open-minded? We have an email on that a little later in the program, but just to touch on that, I really think that we should keep that in the back of our minds. And I think that this email really sets the stage for a couple of the other issues that are brought up in the next couple emails.
Yeah.
And
just to add really quick, I know that, well, obviously it shows that some people are hindered by the requirements that we set on our services like colloquy and vespers and different things. But also, if that hinders them from growing with Christ, I recommend that they find a way that doesn't hinder them. Sure, colloquy and vespers might not be for everyone, but there's other things on campus that can be.
right.
And if there's not a specific ministry that can touch your own personal needs, then we're more than welcome and more than happy to help people start their own ministry. Like I know Justin and Pastor Ice are very happy to help other people start their own ministries and get that going and get the ball rolling on that.
Okay.
I got something to say about that.
Yeah.
I completely agree with Robert. I read the ministry packet, or the whatever you want to call it thing, and everyone complaining about having to go to colloquy. I figured it out last year. I didn't attend an SDA academy, so I don't know how it's done in academy. Obviously, you're probably forced to go, but like Nathaniel said, colloquies, you can choose not to go. It's just if you want your 4-point at the end of 4 years, you're not going to get it if you don't go to the requirement of 6 per quarter. But or if you want your 21 status and things like that. But the biggest thing is they keep telling us colloquy is not a religious service. I mean, that's my hardest part about listening to people saying, I'm not growing from colloquy. You're not supposed to. I mean, it's a community event that they invite all the community members. They shut down almost everything on campus to be able to have colloquy. So I don't see why people are complaining that colloquy is not giving them religious value, because it's not supposed to.
Right.
So, I mean, sorry.
Right. Cool.
So.
All right. The next email goes, here at PUC, I think that we should be focusing on ways for students to grow individually. Granted, at each worship service, there's something for each student, but a lot of times it's hit or miss because everybody's different, and everybody is at different places spiritually. I don't think that it's a bad thing that worship experience is required of us, but the school should be more open-minded when it comes to what is worthy of worship credit and what's not. Believe me, I've had experiences with God feeding the homeless that are equally as powerful as anything I've felt during Week of Prayer. And I really do like the point this person brought up of being like open-minded with worship credit, because worship credit does kind of go on onto a record, and people do kind of examine that and look at it, especially if you stay within the Adventist bubble. And with that, do you guys agree with this person that because everybody's different, there should be more opportunities than just going to Vespers or going to Week of Prayer to be able to earn worship credit? Would you guys agree? Like if somebody wanted to propose, let's put together a system whereas if you wanted to go with some friends to feed the homeless, or if you guys wanted to go,
That's why they have those ministries.
volunteer somewhere. I
And
know,
I
and
believe
you
you
have
get-
those ministries, but a lot of times, sometimes worship credit isn't offered with that,
Right.
and it kind of goes unrecognized. But and just putting things together like that, where maybe even if it's just like a form, like I went out and spent my Sabbath, instead of going to Vespers, my friends and I went and volunteered at Salvation Army or something like that.
Well, like even in the student services, they've got that form for clubs and groups to fill out if they want to receive worship credit for events.
Right.
Things like pre-vespers and things like that. But
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure if the feeding the homeless gets worship credit or not. But I mean, things like that.
Right. So, some do, some
Yeah,
don't. And
but I mean, you can always apply for
if
it.
like a club or
Yeah.
something doesn't do that individually, if you're just like, this is what I did to enjoy my time with God
I think it's a
instead
great
of
idea.
this.
I think that,